What the fuck is up, internet? Welcome to the channel, where in this video I'm going to tell you about this random ass beef I had recently with my next door neighbor. Now, little backstory. I've lived in my apartment, the apartment that I live in now, for like 15 plus years, and I've never had any kind of issue with any of my neighbors. I don't even really know them. I don't talk to them at all, other than the guy who lives right next to me, who I only know him because he was like a regular at this beer store I used to work at. And so I don't really know him. He's like a pseudo acquaintance. Like, he's somebody that I recognize and that I know probably recognizes me. So we have like a, that kind of like acquaintances. Like, I don't even know the motherfucker's name. Anyway, so randomly the other day I'm doing my laundry, and the laundry room is like, I go out my back door, I go past my next door neighbor's back door, down some stairs, and then I'm in the laundry room, which is directly below my neighbor's apartment. So I go do my laundry, I put my laundry in the washer, I come back up, I go back down, put my laundry in the dryer, and when I'm coming back up, my neighbor's in his back door. Like, I have to pass his back door to get to my back door. And I see him. I said, "What's up, man?" This dude looks me directly in the face and goes, "You're a fucking scumbag." And it took a second for it to like register. What? And I just remember going, "Who?" And then turned to red, like saw red instantly. "Who the fuck are you talking to?" I said. And this guy is looking at me, and then he just looks away and closes his door. And I'm mind blown. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I had just put my laundry in the dryer, right? So I have like an hour or so before I have to go down and get my laundry out of the dryer, and I'm just in my apartment, like stewing, like I'm livid, but I'm also like confused, okay? Because nobody just calls you a fucking scumbag to your face, right? Unless they think you did something crazy. Like, that's the only reason for them to say something like that. Me myself would never call somebody a scumbag unless I really thought they did some scummy shit, right? And so I'm in my apartment, just, what could I possibly have done? And I'm like going back and forth between, what's this guy think I did to him, or is this a misunderstanding, or is he just like gone loony? Because fucking post-COVID, motherfuckers are going crazy out there. So I'm just in my apartment, like, what the fuck? Okay. So then, it's been an hour. I'm gonna go down and get my laundry out of the dryer, and this dude is at his door again. So I'm like I said, I'm pissed. So I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck's your problem, man?" And he just looks away again, like so random. Like, he's looking at me, but then he just like looks away, like into the vastness of the universe, and then just closes his door, which just pisses me off even more. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I start talking shit, like, "Oh, you're real tough in the house, man, but I'm gonna see you outside." I'm running my mouth because this window's open. And then I'm like, who the fuck talking to me like that? So then I go down and get my laundry out of the dryer, come back up, his door's closed, I don't see him, and I'm just, dude, I am salty. I'm going through it. Go to my apartment, put my laundry away, and then I notice that this guy is like beaten on the wall between our apartments. Like, he's either kicking it, or I don't know, maybe he was doing some construction or something. I don't know, but that's when like the string of events kind of like clicked, because it didn't start with the scumbag thing. It actually started when I first took my laundry down and put it in the washer. like I said, his apartment is like right above the laundromat. And I went downstairs, and while I was putting my laundry in the washer, there's a lot of banging. I noticed a lot of banging coming from his apartment. And I wasn't really thinking about it. Motherfuckers doing calisthenics, like I said, construction. I don't know what the fuck people do in their apartments. You know what I mean? I just play video games in mine, so I don't know what the fuck he was doing. So I didn't really think much of it. And then when I went back up from putting my laundry in the washer, I heard him like cough, like a real exaggerated cough, like a fake cough. And all it registered in my head was, that's a weird cough, right? Didn't think much of it. Went into my apartment, and when I went down to get my, came back up, cough. When I went back down to put my laundry in the dryer, right? I have, like, when I see him, I normally, what do you want to say? Acquaintances that I have that are like dudes, I don't know their name, but like, we have like a rapport, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, offended by your existence, whatever. Those are people that I generally refer to as brothers. So when I normally see him, this guy, what's up, brother? You know, that's just how I greet dudes. And when I came back up, or when I went down to put my laundry in the dryer before the scumbag thing, it didn't register at the moment. I don't know why. I think it was just something that I just like pushed out of my peripheral. But I heard him say, "Hello, brother," like in like a real, what's the term? I don't know, like a real like, what the fuck? Like a real exaggeratedly like bad, mocking version of my voice, right? "Hello, brother," or whatever he said. And then I'm thinking, this is like something that's been like brewing, must be, right? Like this chain of events plus the scumbag thing. And now I'm almost convinced at this point that this has to be a misunderstanding. That for some reason this guy is convinced that I did something really fucked up. I don't know, does he think I fucked with his apartment? Does he think I fucked with his car? Like that, like, of course I wouldn't. I don't fuck with anybody's stuff. I'm not like that. So I'm just like baffled. But then like nothing really happens. That night I go to work, I don't see him. I come home, I don't see him. And in my mind, right, my first thought is, this motherfucker insulted me. I gotta fight him, right? That's my thought, is that I gotta beat this motherfucker up. And I'm like, but then like time is kind of like, you know what I mean? I care a little bit less as time goes on, and I'm thinking, I'll see him and I'll confront him, right? Like when I see him, I'll confront him about it. Okay, a couple days goes by, and at night I work. This is the thing, like, I know it's not because I'm like loud, because I work third shift. So I'm not home at all to make like a bunch of racket. I live alone. I never have people over. The only noise I probably make is like when I'm making videos, or when I'm yelling at my TV while I'm playing video games, or if the Giants are on. So it's like and when that happens, there's no way. Like there's too much. There's like two walls between me and this guy's apartment. So even if he can hear me like yelling at my TV, it's got to be super muffled to the point where it can't. Because even like when he was kicking the wall, like as soon as I turned the fan on in my room, I couldn't hear it. I could only hear it when like I would go to the bathroom or go downstairs and get something to eat or something. So when I was in my room, I couldn't even hear it. So it couldn't be any of those things, right? So fast forward to me leaving for work. It's like 5 after 11 at night. The front porch light's on, which my light blew out a long time ago, and I don't use it anyway because in the summertime, like bugs are flying around, so I don't even use the outside light. But the outside light on his door, above his door, was on, which is unusual, kinda, but I didn't pay any attention to it. I walk out, I lock my door, and I start to walk away when all of a sudden, this dude's door opens. He turns off his light, and he's just like standing in the doorway looking at me. Like, just a silhouette of this guy. I guess he was like trying to mean mug me or intimidate me or something, but I don't know. I just thought it was like comical. So I turn around because it catches my attention. I laugh. I'm like, and I call him a fucking loser. And I'm like on my way because I'm going to work. I'm not trying to, it's 11 o'clock at night. So, and I kind of think it's funny. So I'm like walking to work laughing like, Jesus Christ, this fucking guy ain't got nothing better to do. And then it kind of dawns on me. I'm like, wait, he might have planned that whole little weird interaction. Is this guy like paying attention to when I leave for work and stuff? So at first I thought it was comical, but then I'm realizing this can't go on, right? Like, I have to nip this in the butt, or in the bud. The butt? Or the bud? Whatever. This has to be resolved, right? Either, like I said, either this guy has lost his shit, or there's a misunderstanding. But I'm not gonna have this guy, like, watching my every move and trying to do these weirdo tantrum, fucking childish tantrums this guy's throwing. It ain't gonna happen. It doesn't work for me. So I come home from work the next morning and I see his car's out front. So I go in my apartment and I just kind of wait, because he usually, I've noticed, or at least the day before, the day that this whole thing happened, he like left and came back, right? Like he was kicking on the wall, left, came back, he was kicking on the wall again, or something like that. So I didn't really know when he was gonna come back, but I took a chair, sat it right out front of my door, and just waited, like just scrolled on my phone until he came back. I wasn't out there that long, like a half hour or so. And so this guy comes back from wherever the fuck he was at, and he pulls in and he can see me. And it's funny, he sees me, and then you can see like this, one of those uncomfortable grins, like, fuck, here we go type of things. Like, he's smiling, but he's not, like, nothing's funny type of grin he's got on his face. He gets out of his car, and I'm on my feet. What's up, Mr. Tough Guy? You know, I'm starting to talk shit, and I'm, like, yelling. It's, like, 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and I know there's cars in my complex, so if there's anybody home, anybody up, as soon as they hear somebody like screaming in the parking lot, what's up, tough guy? You man enough to tell me what your fucking problem is? That everybody's gonna be at the window, because I kind of wanted witnesses, right? Because this guy's kind of unhinged. Could he like call the cops and say I hit him or something? Yeah. So I wanted witnesses in case whatever happened, it was seen. So it wasn't just my word against his. And this guy, like, gonna be a man and tell me what your fucking problem is? And his response is, what's your problem, man? Like, he kind of just goes into deny mode, like instantly. And I'm like, what's my problem is you insulted me and think that and hid in your apartment. And then he's like, now look, the adrenaline is kind of flowing at this point, so there's definitely some shit that was said that I don't really remember, but essentially is he denied it. What's your problem? And he's like, I can call the cops. And so at that point I realized, well, let me take a step back. And I'm like, call for what? Well, you're harassing me. And I'm like, I'm not harassing you, but if you think you can insult me without me fucking sticking up for myself, you're out of your fucking mind. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. So he's like in deny mode. And so I know I said something else. Oh, you didn't call me a scumbag out the back door. And he goes, I didn't call you anything. I may have said that's interesting. Like, I don't know why that was his excuse. And I was like, you know what you said. And he was like, I'm not responsible for what you hear coming out of my apartment. And I'm just like, I start shaking, right? Like, I'm shaking at this point, because I'm like, there's no way that I'm the crazy one here. I know what happened. I remembered the chain of events that led to it happening. And I know you're trying to bullshit me. like he's pussing out, right? And like he's totally bitching out, and it's making me even more mad. And so I'm catching this. I'm realizing, dude, I can't. He hasn't provoked me physically, so I can't just attack him. So I have to reel it in. And he tried to save some face by making fun of the chair I was sitting in when I said, oh yeah, well, I'm sat in the chair because you fucking hide in the house like a bitch. And then I said something about him go ahead and stand in that doorway again. And then I said, you gonna call somebody something? Own it, pussy. And then walked inside. And that was 2 or 3 days ago. And I haven't heard anything since. Like, he hasn't been knocking on the wall. He's seen me, definitely heard me leave and come back, and hasn't done the doorway thing. Honestly, I haven't even noticed his car moved. So I still am confused by what provoked this whole thing in the first place. Like, did this guy just crack? Is it post-COVID fucking craziness? Or, I don't know, maybe was he just trying? Like I said, I don't know the motherfucker, but like I said, I don't know if he's left his house. So maybe he's stewing in there and I don't know, cooking up a revenge plot. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's over with. But I'm kind of a bigger guy, but I'm not out here flexing my muscles, man. I'm happy-go-lucky. But I can't put up with somebody like insult me. A scumbag, dude. Dude, I pay my bills. I work 40 hours a week. I'm not a scum. I don't do anything scummy. I work and I play video games and I make videos here and there. Like, it really bothered me. Probably more than anything else a stranger could call me. Scumbag? Dude. How do you think I handled it? What would you have done differently? Have you ever been, had a crazy beef with your next door neighbor? Have you been the crazy next door neighbor? Tell me the stories in the comments. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.